Now, I'll admit nobody's like asked me or anything, but I'm assuming you want to know, right? I've got no questions about this fight, none. But I'm assuming you want to know, so there you go. Now check it out. First of all, Guillermo Rigondeaux, Vasyl Lomachenko, right? Now, right now, there's a lot of dudes that have a hard on for Vasyl Lomachenko. But keep in mind that, if we go back years ago, I was talking about Vasyl Lomachenko in 2 Olympics, by the way, when none of these dudes knew who the hell this guy was, okay? Right? And the World Series of Boxing when he was doing that, right? And so I had a lot to say, and I was a big fan of Lomachenko. And by the way, I was one of the people that was against Lomachenko fighting Orlando Salido so early in just his second fight. I did not want to see that. I wanted him to show some progression, right? And as it turned out, controversial or not, as it turned out, I was right. He wasn't quite there yet, right? He wasn't quite there yet. So I know there's some talks about him potentially fighting, Orlando Salido in a rematch, which I personally wouldn't mind. Okay, I think that would be a great fight, and also let us see where Lomachenko is now compared to where he was in just his second pro fight, right? Undoubtedly, I think he's improved, okay, as a professional. And when it comes to Guillermo Rigondeaux, I mean, I was one of the few people on here that was saying he was going to beat up Nonito Donaire before it happened, okay? And shout out to Carcino, who had his heart broken that night, right? But nonetheless, I'm a big fan of both guys, okay? I'm a big fan of both guys. So, and I've shown that. I just want to make sure that's clear. So, of course, I would love to see this fight, right? Now, what weight, what this, what that, a lot of you would probably know more about that than me, okay? It's when it comes to the very low weights, especially the last year or so, I've completely stopped paying attention, if I'm being honest, okay? I'm starting to watch boxing a little more now. I am, okay? But just forgive me. But when it comes to these two fighters, of course I'll watch it, okay? Of course. But it's a fight I believe is necessary. Why not? I mean, you know how many gold medals these two guys combined have, all right? I mean, these are probably two of the best amateurs ever, right? I mean, that's like 2 Heisman Trophy winners going head-to-head. That's basically what this is. And so this is, 2 of the best. And the multiple-time gold medal winners and, and the stories there. And it could be, it's not a pay-per-view fight. First of all, they're very small fighters. None of them could really sell. I mean, for all the, people give Rigondeaux the hardest time in the world because he doesn't sell, almost every fighter that quote-unquote sells, right, almost every single one of them, right, they're either in one of the most popular divisions, okay, and they're Hispanic, whether it's Puerto Ricans, and there's already a built-in Puerto Rican backing in the boxing world, or they're Mexican, and there's already built-in Mexican backing in the boxing world. There's nothing wrong with that, okay, at all. But, there's not this huge influx of huge, Cuban boxing fans all over the place. I'm not saying they don't exist. There's, hardcore, Cuban boxing fans out there, all right? But there's not like a huge wave of them, okay? That's what I'm saying. And Cuba is isolated from the world once again, okay? So there goes that, because they're already getting rid of they're bringing back the embargo, right? But whatever. Oh, he doesn't sell. Neither does Lomachenko. Okay, Lomachenko ain't selling out like fucking Madison Square Garden or anything like that. Lomachenko isn't bringing record viewers to HBO or anything like that. Okay, Lomachenko along with Rigondeaux is of a group of fighters that are, for whatever reason, bringing in the lowest ratings in HBO championship boxing history. Okay. I don't think any of them are at fault. It's just, that there's a lot of reasoning behind that, which I'm not going to get to right now. I've gotten into that in the past, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So whatever. Like, oh, he doesn't sell. Like, neither does Lomachenko. All right, like what are you guys talking about? All right, but with that said, I don't care about that. They could find a decent site. Like they just need Lomachenko Rigondeaux just need an arena with 6,000 people in it, right? And if only 800,000 people tune in, oh well, I'm going to be one of them. Okay, it's I don't give a damn, right? And I just want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. I believe it's a necessary fight, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, right? From a tactical standpoint, that fight it should be anyway, a boxing purist's dream, right? I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, the two top fighters, but come on, who wants to really see that? Really, it's not going to sell," like they say that, right? But then in the same breath, in the same hypocritical breath, they say shit like, "Yeah, Conor McGregor and Floyd's gonna sell, but man, it's a mismatch, and who the fuck wants to see that? Floyd should fight somebody, okay, who's a top fighter. Nobody wants to see him fight an outmatched opponent. Who cares if it sells?" I mean, you guys are talking out of both sides of your mouth, right? And then you say shit like, "Stop talking about McGregor versus Floyd. Why don't you talk about other fights?" And then I talk about this fight, for example. It ain't going to get the amount of views I get when I talk about McGregor versus Mayweather or do any Mayweather video. It's not going to do that. But I'm being honest right now. If 100 million people could watch McGregor versus Mayweather, it's still not going to be as intriguing to me as this fight. This is the type of fight I want. Okay, if only 700,000 people watch it on HBO or Showtime or on PVC or whatever. Okay, I don't care. All right, if it's only an arena with 4,000 or 5,000 people in it, I don't care. Okay, I just want to see this fight. Right, this is a boxing purist fight right here. Right, and I want to see it. Now, I ain't gonna tell you who I think would win. I'm going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that unless, my rule, okay? Unless it's like a flat-out mismatch, like Mayweather versus McGregor or something like that. Unless it's something like that, or I don't like giving out predictions until a fight is official, okay? I've said the same thing about Joshua versus Wilder. I've said the same thing about a lot of fights. Until the fight's signed, sealed, and delivered, I'm not delivering a prediction, okay? Until it's official, because then I'm just talking out of my ass. Okay. Now, what I don't like is the following. What I will say is this. Okay. I'm not gonna tell you who I think is gonna win, but I will say this. I think both guys have an excellent chance of beating the other. That's number one. Number two, and I think this is very important. A lot of the people who are dismissing this fight are doing two things. Okay. And it's a very convenient thing. They're dismissing the fight, saying nobody wants to see this fight. What the hell's up with this fight, right? All of a sudden, they care about other shit, okay? Like all of a sudden, they care about, like all they do is tell people all day, "Oh, what do you care about? Getting all the belts and all this and that, And then, but when it comes to this fight, people act weird. All of a sudden, they care about unifications, Like people that say they don't care about belts will start saying, well, yeah, Rigondeaux should unify, Like when Rigondeaux was trying to fight the champions, you guys were saying, well, yeah, who cares if they don't want to fight him, So who cares if all the champions are ducking him? Nobody wants to see him. He's boring, right? But now while this fight's getting close, you guys are acting funny. All of a sudden, he needs to make these fights happen. And, shit's retarded, okay? Shit's retarded. How to work out when Quig and what was the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name. Okay, how to work out when they ducked Rigondeaux? How to work out? Huh? Because they were exciting. You know how boring that fucking fight was? All right? But anyway, you guys, you can't say shit like, well, Lomachenko beat him anyway, but I don't want to see it. I think we should see other fights. No, 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 no. Wait, what? No, 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 no. You don't get to say Lomachenko beat him anyway, but I don't want to see it. No, then no, no. How about we? I want to know. All right, I know a lot of you guys like a lot of you guys don't even have a good reputation predicting fights. Okay, a lot of you guys are saying Kovalev was gonna beat Ward easy and destroy him and all that. Okay, it's not like you have like this amazing reputation in picking fights. Okay, so forgive me if I don't just take your well, you know, Lomachenko will win anyway, but I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. Like no, 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 no. Okay, not like you guys. I want to know, right? I don't want to be an old dude like wondering, like, man, if that fight happened, who would have won? I don't want to ask myself that question. I just want to know. I don't want to think. Okay, I believe I know who would win, right? But it's I don't want to believe. Okay, I want to know. I want to know the result. I want to know what happens, right? When one guy is put in a difficult situation, I want to know how they're going to adjust, right? Because they're going to present each other with challenges they've never seen before. And I want to see that. That intrigues me, okay? I don't care if 100 million people aren't going to watch, okay? 100 million people are not going to watch any of these little dudes, okay? You guys are acting like these dudes are like fucking gathering the attention. Like little dudes don't draw, okay? Sorry to tell you. They don't draw like that, okay? Like not even in the UFC. Look at that Mighty Mouse guy. Can draw worth nothing, okay? They're thinking about cutting that division. I don't think they should. I think the guy's a great fighter. I like to watch him fight, but, you know, nobody watches the guy, all right? Nobody watches the little dudes, okay, with some exceptions, okay? Now, some people will say, no, but what about, you know, when Nassim Hamed? Well, that's definitely an exception, okay? Nassim Hamed was a huge exception, okay? And whether you like it or you don't, like, look at the facts, okay? When all these guys, Pacquiao, Marquez, Barrera, all right, when all of them moved up in weight, more and more people watched them, okay? As Pacquiao moved up, he got more and more people's attention, okay? That wasn't like an accident. Like, sure, yeah, he was, like, Pacquiao burst into the scene and you know, beat the shit out of Barrera, and that was phenomenal, huge upset, right? And not in hindsight, obviously, but, you know, at the time, you know, big perceived as a huge upset. Big win for him. And the Morales trilogy. And, yeah, I mean, if it was for a little guy, yeah, he was getting a lot of attention for a little guy, right? But then as he moved up, right, like as he kept moving up in weight, more and more people started watching him, right? Like the dude moves up to 135, the Boston Celtics are over there watching the dude, okay? Okay, the guy moves up to 140. You know, he's all over ESPN. The guy moves to 147 to fight Cotto. I mean, before that, De La Hoya blows up, right? Fought Cotto, blows up. I mean, it just became more of an event. So don't give me this whole like, oh, Reagan now doesn't sell. A lot of these little dudes don't sell, right? Like some of them are like popular in their country, you know. Ringing out would be popular in Cuba too, but there's an embargo now and shit. What do you want the guy to do, right? Get stuck there forever, right? Okay. What do you want? But anyway, not to go off on a tangent here. I want to see this fight, right? I want to see this fight. I'm interested in this fight. I don't mind 130. I just don't. Okay, so whatever. Let's do it. I wouldn't mind watching it, man. As a boxing purist, I wouldn't mind watching this. Okay, I know a lot of dudes are already whining and complaining. Oh no, why Rigondeaux? Like people act. Why do people act weird, man? When it comes to Rigondeaux, I don't know why. Like it's just they just act weird. Like it's just like a weird like they say weird things. Like they just act so offended that you want to see Rigondeaux fight somebody. Like it's just like my opinion, dude. Okay, you know, like they'll tell Rigondeaux like you're not even a star. Like if like the lower weight classes are just packed with stars or something. You know, like the you know what? No, he's not a look. Obviously, Rigondeaux is not a perfect fighter. You know, I've never said that. I'm not saying there's no room to criticize the guy. Yes, there's been fights where he was frustrating to watch. Yes. Of course there was fights where like, dude, throw. Of course. But you have to admit, even like if he only threw 12 punches, that's all he just did what he needed to do to win. Like he just didn't go to that 4th, 5th, 6th gear, you know? A guy like Rigondeaux needs somebody that's gonna push him to that limit. You know, it's just, you know, you could call that a fault, call it whatever you want. I think Lomachenko's that guy, right? Win, lose, or draw, you're gonna see the best Rigondeaux when he fights Lomachenko, right? I believe that. Okay? And I put my whatever you want to call it. Okay? Like I'll put my whole boxing, you know, fan reputation on that shit, right? Because all these channels, all of us, we have a reputation on here, okay? That's why a lot of dudes disappear when they keep taking L's, right? And they keep saying stupid shit, and the stupid shit doesn't happen because it's stupid, right? Like I'm telling you right now, I honestly believe that if Rigondeaux were to fight Lomachenko, right? It's not going to please everybody, okay? I'm not going to say this and be like, it's not going to be Gotti Ward, okay? You know why it's not going to be Gotti Ward? They're too good to get hit that much, okay? That's why it's not going to be Gotti versus Ward, all right? They're too good for that, right? But they're too good to get hit, okay, by 90% of those punches, all right? So it's not going to be everybody's fight. It's not going to be a slugfest or anything like that, okay? But what it is, it's going to be two boxing masters, right, displaying a level of boxing that, you know, a guy like Conor McGregor could only wish he had, right? It's, you know, displaying a level of boxing talent, IQ, a level of boxing that you only really see at the highest level. And to me, that's great. And I think these two guys have that, right? So call it for whatever you want. You know, if you want to, you know, say, oh, DStyle, he's just full of shit. No! Get rid of Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux don't sell out arenas. Like, name me 5 dudes from 130 down, 130 south. 5 guys, okay, in the lower divisions that could sell out Madison Square Garden. Name me 5. You know what? Name me 2. You know what? Name me 1. Can you do that? Right? Now, you guys talking like, oh, when Rigondeaux fights, nobody shows up, and you know, when Rigondeaux gets low numbers on HBO, people act like he's the only fighter that gets low numbers. You know, it's like weird. You know, it's just, oh, that's why he got low numbers because he's boring, right? What? So what explains, like, you know, all these other fights that got low ratings? Like when Brandon Rios would fight on HBO and they got low ratings. What explained that then? Can you explain that to me? Like, can you explain to me why, you know, I mean, take like fights that were considered great, and to me they were great fights. Like take Vasquez versus Marquez. I'm talking about Rafael Marquez, the little one, right? If those were great fights, and let me tell you something, okay? They didn't put them at the Staples Center. They put them at the freaking Home Depot Event Center, okay? Half the fucking size. What's the excuse then? And Showtime wasn't like making unbelievable ratings with those fights. They did pretty good, but they weren't like unbelievable, like not what you would expect, right? So don't give me this nonsense that, oh no, it's this, it's that, and oh, when it comes to Rigondeaux, it's all his fault. Okay, he can't part the Red Sea, so he ain't shit. Like what? All right, so but that's it. Those are my thoughts. I'm out.